X22 Puzzler the Questions. The faculty members 22 out of 32. Puzzler, the guiding force of wholeness. No need to go more into separation. Quote, "You have come for uniting and not for separation." Rumi, end of quote. After having read and listened to all the questions and answered them, you might come to the conclusion that there is still a lot to learn. And you can learn from these guiding forces by studying them. Go to the playlist of the Magical and/or Sacred Council, the Encyclopedia or Museum of Symbols. Do you stay aware of the fact that when you look with your physical eyes and through the consciousness of your familiar mind reality, that you perceive everything as separate parts and pieces? Do you think that you can imagine that the entire creation and everything within is complete and whole? Do you realize that as long as you are not one with the divine, that you keep perceiving everything being parts and pieces and not as a whole? Do you feel a separation? What are you doing in order to feel connected and united? Do you realize that unity and uniting is only possible above and beyond the mortal world of body, mind, intellect, and matter? Do you realize that analyzing and looking at things as separate units is just done for analytical and scientific purposes? When every person is whole and complete, be careful to approach them as separate and looking at their differences. Do you understand that you are whole and complete? When so, stop separating yourself from yourself and others. Do you realize that you have already separated yourself from the divine through an identification process? Separated yourself from the tribe and nature, now wanting your separate place, and separating yourself between head and body, and even more by being busy with your mobile device. Do you realize that every food item in nature is whole and has everything inside for the nourishing of the body? Do you know that when you start doing something with that food, that mostly you diminish that wholeness and real nourishment? Do you realize that man separates and that the divine unites? Do you understand that man is able to take any life creation and creature apart in parts and pieces, but cannot create that life back again? Do you realize that when one part of your body is not well, that actually your entire body is not well, and both need to be treated with that understanding? Your family and business is the same. Do you realize that when you don't accept everything that happens completely, that you stay stranded with missing pieces? Do you realize that when you don't accept yourself completely, that you will be looking your entire life for missing pieces? Do you understand that as long as you look at life being a disassembled puzzle, that you stay puzzled and not able to experience a wholesome life? Do you stay aware of the fact that when you are on a path to uniting the soul with its creator, that the path and guidance you receive are part of that path, not separate, but whole? Do you realize that you can exercise your entire body with one exercise instead of training it in parts and pieces? It is through the consciousness that all is one that you can do this. Do you understand that man has created countries that he thinks belong to him? And so he did with thinking that others and things belong to him, but that actually all belongs to the Creator and all is within him? Do you understand that through identifying with yourself, the name given to you and all you think you know and think is yours, that all this is part of a separation process? Do you understand that as long as you try to stand out, that you are alone and separate? Do not forget to look at the essence and wholeness that is within everything and everybody. As long as you focus on your differences, you are on your own. Do realize that through comparing and competing, that you are living a destructive, disrespecting, and disjointed life.